In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I make $1,000 a day with my consulting business, step by step. That way, you can literally just copy me. Now, since it's probably the first time you and I meet, why should you listen to me? My name is Fred, and I'm an entrepreneur from a lower middle class background. I went from having only $400 to my name over 5 years ago to making upwards of $1,000 a day selling services and consulting online. Now, this might surprise you, but the first thing I had to do in order to start seeing any success was to actually become a different version of myself. Now, if you think it's just some woo-woo crap, feel free to click off this video. Keep trying to take action without changing yourself at the core, and then come back to me 6 months down the line and tell me how it's working for you. So let me explain what I mean when I say that I had to become a different version of myself to become successful. Over 5 years ago, I was dirt broke. I only had $400 in my bank account, and on top of that, I was lonely and I was battling with severe social anxiety. It got to the point I couldn't even go outside, leave the house to go for a walk in the neighborhood. And I had big goals and big dreams. Growing up in the lower middle class, I often felt frustrated because we lacked money. We could never really have the hobbies that we wanted, or go on vacation, travel, buy nice clothes, because we simply didn't have the money for it. So we were always in this scarcity mindset, always worrying about the price of things constantly. I would hear my parents every single day complaining about the price of bread, lettuce, gas, electricity, clothes, everything. So it's not like growing up, my parents gave my younger sister and I the best money beliefs, because the truth is, if my parents had known what wealthy people know, they would have been far wealthier themselves. But they never questioned the beliefs that were passed on to them by their own parents, and so they stayed in the same social class. And every day I would see them breaking their backs at work, only to earn breadcrumbs, to be underpaid, undervalued. To give you an example, my mother worked as a nursing assistant, and she actually had a very dangerous job, because alongside with her other female co-workers, they had to deal with very violent patients. Thugs that got into knife fights with gangs, drug dealers, convicted felons. So as you can see, not exactly the friendly type, and with only a single security guard for the entire building, because all the employees were underpaid and understaffed. As you can guess, shit was bound to happen, and pretty often. Sometimes one of the patients would get violent and get angry. They would start insulting, sometimes even hitting one of the nurses. When it comes to my father, he was working as a nurse, but since many years, he had fallen out of love with his job. He was treated like a pawn on the chessboard, and so that, among many other things, made him depressed, and it led him down the rabbit hole of addiction. And so growing up, I had a very shitty relationship with him. We'd often get into heated verbal and physical arguments. So I saw firsthand what the pain of regret does to a man. I saw firsthand how it destroyed the people on the inside to work average jobs that were unfulfilling for a small pay, just to be able to keep paying their bills and basic life expenses. But that was just no way to live. It felt like we were living half of a life. While at the same time at school, I could see these wealthy kids getting driven around in brand new Porsches. Every year they'd get the latest iPhone. At the time, I didn't even have a phone, and every morning I had to force myself to get up super early so I could take the crowded bus to go to school. I remember the first day I walked into that school, people made fun of me, they bullied me because I had a cheap bag. It wasn't one of the expensive brands. But that's not even the funniest part of the story. A few weeks before school started, with my parents and I, we were outside and we found a €50 bill on the floor. And so we used that money to buy a bag for me for school. And so growing up, I wanted to be successful extremely badly. Sometimes I would happen to see a sports car on the highway. It was very rare, but whenever it would happen, I would be mesmerized by it. I would wonder who was driving the car, how old they were, what they were doing for a living, how much money they were making, how could they afford to drop $200,000 on a car. And most importantly, I wondered how different their mindset must have been from everyday people. Because while for most people the price of bread was so expensive, how come somebody could afford to drive a $200,000 car? And so all of these different experiences made me realize in life there are plenty of opportunities and abundance in the world, especially nowadays with social media. As we speak, some 15-year-olds make over $100,000 per month with some business models you've never even heard of. And all of that is only possible because of the internet. And so I always knew from a very young age it was my duty to become successful and get my family out of hell, because I wanted so much more out of life. I always knew life is finite. One day I'm going to die, just like everybody will. But in the meantime, I want to enjoy my life fully. I don't want to be limited by lack of money. I don't want to constantly worry about my bills. This is not a life. I saw what it did to my parents, and I didn't want to reproduce the same in my adult life. But at the same time, 5 years ago I was so anxious, so undisciplined, I would procrastinate, and I knew for a fact if I stayed as I was, nothing would ever change. I would stay the same. I would never achieve my goal of building a profitable business and becoming financially free and being able to share my message with the world, my story with the world, and help ambitious individuals to accomplish the same. And growing up in the lower middle class, it's not like my parents gave the best money beliefs to my younger sister and I. For instance, a lot of middle class people like my parents, they put money above time. So they would have rather spent 5 to 20 hours per week doing chores instead of hiring a cleaner. And of course, they would constantly argue over having to do chores. I'd often see my mother filling out online surveys just to get free products from the grocery store. And so the emphasis was on selling your time for money, which is what society tells you to do. Society tells you need to go and have a job and sell your time for money. Most jobs, they pay you per hour, not for the value that you provide directly. So it's essentially a way for big companies all over the world to underpay people and to enslave you, when in reality, what's far more valuable than money, it's time, because you can have as much money as you want. Like you could have an unlimited amount of money in your bank account. Some people are billionaires, but nobody lives up to 1 billion years old. We all pretty much get the same amount of time in this life. So once your time's gone, it's gone. So in order to become successful, I had to learn how successful people view the world, how they think, how they act, so I could become one of them myself. And one thing I understood from successful people is that the people who get the best results, they're action takers. They think quickly, they act quickly, they're able to move forward, because what gets you results, it's action. But you not only need to be working hard consistently, you need to work on the right thing, because plenty of people all over the world work extremely hard. Most likely you do, most likely your parents did, mine did. Yet, are they making 6 to 7 figures a year? No, because they're not working on the right thing. Warren Buffett said it himself. It doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters what boat you're in. And every week, I speak to a lot of people, and the common trend I notice among the people who do become successful and they become financially free is that they're action takers. They take action quickly. They learn, they move forward. They learn, they take action. The people who keep waiting and waiting and waiting, they have big goals and big dreams, they want to be free, but they keep pushing it down, they keep repressing that desire, they never end up financially free. And those people, they arrive at the end of their life, they're on their deathbed, and oh my god, I can't even imagine the amount of pain that these people feel, knowing that they could have done so much more, they could have lived a full life, but they didn't because they held themselves back. Which is why, to help you, I've recorded a free video in which I share with you everything I did step by step to make upwards of $1,000 a day with my consulting business. That way, you can literally just copy me. I'll leave the link in the description below. Or if you're committed to starting your business so you can become financially free and finally get the sort of life that you deserve, you can directly book a free call with me or my team and we'll see if we can help you. But the thing that really changed my life was understanding that producers make money while consumers spend money. Now everybody is a consumer. We eat food, we wear clothes, we watch Netflix, we consume educational content, so there's nothing wrong with consuming per se. You need to consume just to be alive, so it's human. However, let's face it, most people want to make more money, but they don't understand how money works. They think they need to sell more of their time instead of selling more value, solving painful problems for people. And if you want to become wealthy, make 6 or even 7 figures a year, you need to solve painful problems for people. That's what gets you paid, and a lot of money. So as soon as I understood that, I figured, okay, if I want to make more money, I need to consume less and produce more. Nowadays, I mostly produce and I rarely consume. And like I said, if you want to get paid, you need to start solving painful problems for people. You have to realize your customers don't care about anything other than you helping them to get exactly what they want and to solve the painful problem that they have. They don't care if you're passionate about it. They don't care if you're 25 or 35. They don't care if you're a man or a woman. They don't care about your accent or how pretty your website is. All they care about is that you help them get what they want. And the best way to help people to solve painful problems is to sell services or consulting. So you can do that in 3 different ways. The first is to sell services that you know how to deliver yourself. Let's say you're very good with Photoshop. Let's say you're very good at web design. You could sell that as a service. The other way is to teach someone how to achieve something that you've been able to achieve yourself. So to give you a few examples, let's say you were able to overcome a drinking addiction. You can help people to do the same. Let's say in the past, you used to struggle with relationships and getting dates. You can help people to start getting more dates. For instance, what I do nowadays is that I help ambitious individuals to start a profitable consulting business. So I solve a painful problem for people. And finally, you can sell services even if you don't know how to deliver that service yourself. So the way that you would do that is by first getting customers, closing customers, and then you get a remote contractor to deliver the work for your customers instead of having to do it yourself. And that allows you to sell any service even if you don't have the skills to do it yourself. And I know some people in the industry, that's exactly what they do. They have a great offer and they're making multiple 7 figures per year, and they're not even the ones providing the service. That's literally what CEOs do all over the world. They hire people to do the work for the customers. The CEO isn't the one in the trenches every day. The CEO is the one who makes the decisions. With this business model, you can charge anywhere from $500 up to $5,000 per customer and even more. It depends on what you sell and who you sell it to. And profit margins are extremely high, between 80 to 98%. It's a much better business model than trying some business model like dropshipping and trying to resell the same overpriced, crappy AliExpress product as everybody else. Because anybody can just come in at any time and replicate your entire business model, sell the same crappy AliExpress product for half the price. And so now you lose half of your customer base. And because business models like dropshipping are based around trends, you constantly need to reopen other Shopify stores around other trends. So you never grow a loyal customer base over time. And the most successful businesses in this world, they always grow a loyal customer base over the years. And that's how they're able to benefit from the compound effect. If you want to figure out how you can start your own service or consulting business, I highly suggest you check out the free training in the description. Now, what happens when you start to make $5,000 to $15,000 per month? Honestly, congratulations, because most people never even get there because they don't know what to do. They have no one to show them the way, so they don't have a proven step-by-step process to follow, and also they don't believe in themselves. They have so many limiting beliefs, so many doubts, they're not even willing to try, and doubt kills more dreams than anything else. But let's say you overcome those hurdles, and now you're making $5,000 to $15,000 per month. What's the next step? I have to warn you, because when you start to make money, it becomes very tempting to spend it on nice shit. I personally know people who started seeing some success, they got a few customers, they were making very decent money, but instead of taking that momentum and building upon it, getting more customers, growing the business, they started to go out more and more often, to party more and more often. They'd get wasted at the club and spend so much money on alcohol. They'd start buying things like a Rolex. I don't have a Rolex right now. I know if I had, more people would believe me, more people would be like, oh, he knows what he's talking about, because you would see that status symbol and subconsciously you would believe me more. But I'm playing the long-term game. I reinvest every penny I make, because if you reinvest every penny you make, you can go from $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 per month to $100,000 per month, $300,000 per month, and then you can buy all the shit that you want, like Rolexes or cars or travel. You can pay off the debt of the people that you love. You can do anything, but there is a time and place for everything, so be extremely careful. So look, you need to make a choice now. You can keep watching YouTube videos on how to make money online, but doing that won't make you any money. Or if you're committed to starting your business so you can become financially free and get the life that you deserve, you can check out the free resources in the description below or directly book a free call with me or my team, and we'll see if we can help you. That being said, share this video with a friend, and together let's blow up this YouTube channel to empower ambitious individuals across the globe to become financially free.